वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो परम ऋषिभ्यो नमो नमः। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागं सस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओम। Welcome to this fourth episode of Who is Ganesha from the Ganapati Atharvashirsha Upanishad from the Atharva Veda. So before we go into the verse that we are going to do today, up to the verse of Tvam Vangmayastvam Chinmayaha, from the beginning, what I have done today is, from this commentary of Swami Tejomayananda, I went through all the paragraphs and I prepared a nice brain map formats of each paragraph, which I would love to share with you, so that what we have done so far will become very clear and we will move to the next Anuvaka today. So what does it, this commentary begin with? That Ganesha is Om. Om is that Pranava mantra and Ganesha is Om. Then it says this whole book was written by the blessings of Ganapati, and even Pujya Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda started his first, this is the 75th year of Chinmaya Mission, and his work of teaching this knowledge of Vedanta began with Ganapati temple in Pune at Rastapet in 1951. And following which, also to honor that, in Pune when Chinmaya Vibhuti was constructed, there is a Pranava Ganesh temple. And so Pujya Guruji began the talks on this Ganapati Atharvashirsham, which was recorded as this book, which are the talks that were delivered at the Pranava Ganesh temple when it was inaugurated, when it was consecrated. And those were the talks of the Ganapati Atharvashirsha. So we have the blessings of Ganapati also and blessings of Pujya Gurudev also in our study of this Upanishad. So we begin with this mantra, the Nama mantra and the Bija mantra of Shri Ganapati, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. The next couple of paragraphs, knowledge dispels ignorance. And what is knowledge? It reveals the truth as it is. There is no coloring and there is no projection of our own emotions or anything, but knowledge or thought reveals truth as it is. And the knowledge ought to be free of bias, free of filters, free of opinions, free of confusion, and free of vagueness. So what are thoughts? Thoughts are called prama or vritti jnana. Vritti means thought. Jnana means knowing that, revealing that is vritti jnana. Vritti means actually movement. Vritti, vritu, vartane. something that keeps moving around is called vritti. And thought is a vritti. So we are talking of the prama vritti, or the thought of knowledge that we have. And knowledge about what? Knowledge about prameya. Prameya is the object perceived or conceived. You can either perceive an object outside or you can conceive a thought within. Prameya. And then you have the pramata, or the knower of the thought. And this book, for example, this is a book. What is this? It may be a book outside, but how do we perceive it? We perceive it as a thought inside. This is a book, is a thought. And when we want to know about the self is much, much more subtle than an object like this, like a book or like a thought or like an emotion. More subtle than that is the self. So the self calls for pure, concentrated mind to realize the truth. And this thought about the self is revealed only through the Vedas. And it cannot be perceived or it cannot be conceived. And what is the Veda? The Veda is from the root word vid, to know. Veda is not composed. The Rishi sat, it is called Apaurusheya Shabda Pramana. Shabda Pramana means a thought of a sound. Apaurusheya, it is not created by any human being. It is not sat and composed. And these Vedas were compiled into 4 volumes by Maharshi Vedavyasa, who is the author of the compilation. We go to the second sheet now. There are about 9 sheets, and it was 11 sheets or 10 sheets, small sheets, and it was very delightful for me to work on it and share it with you also, because the whole thing, this is called a mind map method, where the core thought is within the circle and all the spokes will contain the thoughts that are connected to this core thought. And there is, every paragraph has a core thought, and the aligning subsidiary thoughts are put in spokes around the circle. So what is the scope of this Upanishad? There are many subjects. What is the scope of the Upanishads? There are many subjects, like for example in the Vedas, like Vedic mathematics. But the most subtle knowledge, which is the main purpose of the Upanishad, is to know what is the truth. Then the Upanishad, the Vedas contain 2 main parts to it. One is Dharma and the other is Brahma. So we will see what is spoken about Dharma. Dharma is, it refers to, the Vedas talk about experiences that can be attained by us, like Swarga, like Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, Narakaloka, all these different experiences that are possible to be experienced by us is explained in this Dharma in the Vedas. And then it is the highest and the highest standard of living, highest standard of life is being pointed out by the Vedas. And then constitution, what is constitutional and what is unconstitutional, what is right, what is wrong, what is legal, what is illegal, what is righteous and what is unrighteous. And the inescapable universal laws, these are all pointed out by the Vedas. Actions, what actions we do, what results we'll get, are also pointed out by the Vedas. And then you have the eternal rules, whatever rules that we need to follow, which means if we don't follow, only we are at loss. How we can fulfill our desires and also grow out of the desires. These are all coming under Dharma, the part of the Vedas. Now, under the Brahma part of the Vedas, what is spoken about? Liberation is spoken about, the infinite truth and the self, freedom from bondage of action. Like, we love to do action, but we don't want to be always doing action, because stirring and acting involves a lot of release of energy, which we don't want to give. It is like our wealth. This energy that we have is our wealth. We don't want to unnecessarily do it, and we don't want to do it because if we don't get anything, any good experience out of it, we don't want to do it. So how to be free from that kind of an action? The Brahma part of the Vedas speak about. And freedom from birth and death also. Even to be born and then to go through all the suffering in life and then to die is a very difficult idea. So how to be free of that? The Vedas speak about. And the Vedas also talk about Brahma Jnana, or the knowledge of the truth, which is the ultimate goal of life. What is the ultimate goal of my being born in life here? To attain that knowledge of the Brahman, the supreme truth. And what are the many goals that are there among people? What goals do people love to have? They love choose goals like name, fame, money, power, pleasures, comfort, knowledge, and scientific truths also they want to acquire. And then they choose the goal of love. They choose the goal of work to improve the lot of others. They want to do social service. So that is also one goal. Security is one goal they pursue. Social freedom, political freedom, economic freedom, and also these teenagers, they want to do what they want to do. They want to be very free. They want to enjoy life, and they want to get whatever they desire. So everybody has got goals, and these are all the broad categories of goals. And what is the ultimate goal in our life is happiness. And how is that happiness attained? By realization that I am that happiness, I am the joy, I am the bliss, which is Brahman. Knowledge about this happiness or the ultimate goal takes us to the all. It takes us to the all time, eternal, and it points out how to attain that goal of that Brahman, the truth. The Vedas reveal these ways by which we can achieve. Now we come to the third sheet. What is there? We have three manufacturing defects. Anytime if you want to note down whatever this is from the Ganapati Atharvashirsha Upanishad, and from the next session onwards, my talk will include this chart also, the details also. But here, since I have not done it for so long, today I am completing it in two parts. Today there will be one part, and tomorrow the next part will come. So what are the three manufacturing defects we all have as human beings? One is, there is karma mala. Karma mala, mala is impurities of mind. Kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. These impurities of mind, how does it go away? It goes away with the practice of karma yoga, meaning just engaging in the action without identifying with myself as the doer of the action, not putting any thought that I am the doer and it is so difficult, or I am going to get excited about this, that this result is going to come, and I love this action. Nothing, no ideas. Whatever needs to be done, not whatever we want to do, but whatever needs to be done, we do that work. That is called karma yoga, which removes a mala. The first mala, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, and many more. Kama is desire, krodha is anger, lobha is greed, moha is delusion, mada is arrogance, and matsarya is jealousy. Matsaraha, thinking that somebody else is getting more than us, going higher than us. Then you have the second impurity of mind, which is called vikshepa. Vikshepa is oscillation of the mind, tossing of the mind. The mind is always agitated, in a state of agitation because of the desires it entertains, and that is gone with upasana. Upasana means sitting close to the object of our worship. It can be Krishna, it can be Rama, it can be Shiva, it can be Durga, it can be Lakshmi, it can be Saraswati, or it can be Subramanya or Ganesha. When we just sit close to that deity, we meditate upon that deity, we contemplate on that deity, we do puja for that deity, our mind becomes very steady. And what is the phalashruti of upasana? Bhava samshuddhihi. Your mind will get pured and mind will get steady. Samadhi bhavanataha klesha tanukaranascha antaraya abhavaha. Samadhi bhavanataha. When I am entering into the state of thoughtlessness, contemplating on the divine, then my kleshas or avidya, ignorance, asmita is the I thought, which basically is translating as arrogance. Raga is attachment, dvesha is hatred, abhinivesha is fear. all these things will become tanu karanam. They will become very, 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 very mild and almost disappearing the more and more we worship. And then antaraya abhava. There are 13 antarayas or obstacles. They are vyadhi, sthana. Vyadhi is disease, sthana is laziness, samshaya is doubt, avirati is not able to leave what we ought to leave, alasya is a certain attitude of laziness of the body and mind, alasya, pramada is not doing what the sadhanas that we are supposed to do. Bhranti darshana is always deluded thinking. The thought process is not very clear. The thought process is very layered and very filtered. And so we are not able to get the thought clearly. Bhranti darshana. Alabdha bhumikatva is I want to achieve something, I am not able to achieve. Alabdha, these are all obstacles. Anavasti tattva, even if I achieve, I am not able to be steady there. And then you have dukkha, is sorrow, like the feeling of sorrow. Because I have disease, I feel sorrow. It's a very natural feeling. It comes along with these obstacles. Daurmanasya is a kind of depressive state of mind, a dull, mood off, mood swings, or low mood. And continued period of low mood is depression. So daurmanasya. Then you have angame jayatva, the movement of the body, constant restlessness of the body. The restlessness of the mind is manifested in the body, and the body also keeps shaking and moving and jumping and walking and unable to sit quietly for some time in meditation. Shwasa prashwasaha, the breath is very uncomfortable, like it goes in and it comes out with a lot of speed. So these obstacles and these vikshepas will be removed when I do sit and do more of upasana or worship of that Ishvara in the form, in a name and form. Then jnana avarana, like now reading and studying the Ganapati Atharvashirsha Upanishad and contemplating on that, will remove the light covering of avidya. There is a very, very, it is almost imperceptible, it is not there. But since we are not aware of it, we believe that it is there. The moment we believe that it is there, that belief becomes very strong, and we are living in complete avidya. We are living in complete darkness of thinking in this world. The more and more we contemplate on the Upanishads, the more and more we study the Upanishads, this jnana avarana, or the layer of thought of ignorance that is covering consciousness, will go away. Vedas speak the eternal truth. All scriptures are Vedas, and even people who might not have studied the Vedas through a formal, Vedas is nothing but going to a Gurukulam and studying. A formal Veda means knowledge. It's a subject, a scientific subject. And like people like Sri Ramana Maharishi also, who did not go to any Gurukul and studied the Vedas, but what he spoke was considered Veda Vakya. They were all stemming from the truth within. The words of the realized masters also will come under Veda or words of knowledge. And Dharma, what does Dharma do for the Vedas? Dharma points us all the rituals and the prayers and the actions that we can do, the subjects that we can study. It points out and prepares the mind for Brahma, which is the ultimate knowledge. Brahma means Brahman, knowing what is Brahman. Then you have the Upanishads. We saw the Karma Kanda and we saw the Upasana Kanda, and now the Jnana Kanda, the Upanishads. What is the Jnana Kanda of the Vedas? A part of Jnana of the Vedas. What do they give us? They give us the knowledge of the truth. They Upanishad means Upa is with humility going near, Samipe, Upa Samipe, near the Guru. Ni, below, or Nishchayena, very certainly. Sitting below means it refers to humility, it refers to surrender also. And Shad is to sit. And when we sit and the words of the Guru are flowing through our ears, what does it do? Visharane, Shadru, Visharanat, which is loosening our vasanas. We have very strong beliefs inside us, which have been collected over lifetimes. And those beliefs, which are called vasanas, will become loosened with the presence of the Guru. So even I'm feeling so delighted about this because this gives a whole perspective. I didn't want to, even while talking, when I'm just chanting the mantras and explaining the meaning of that, I really felt that I missed out on all the commentary and whatever is the essence of the commentary, which is very beautiful, which is very clear in itself. And how many Upanishads are there? There are 108 Upanishads. There are even more, but 108 have been specified now. And the commentary written by Adi Shankaracharya about 11 Upanishads are called major Upanishads. The rest are minor Upanishads. There is no qualitative difference between the major Upanishads and the minor Upanishads. It is only that because Adi Shankaracharya's commentary is not there, they are called minor Upanishad. And these Upanishads there is nothing like big Upanishad that tells something great and a small Upanishad is not very great. It is just like there can be a pocket-sized mirror, there can be a very big mirror covering the whole wall, there can be a very beautiful decorative mirror, that can be a rusty mirror, but mirror is a mirror. In the same way, the Upanishad can be small, the Upanishad can be big, the Upanishad can be giving a wide canvas of knowledge, but Upanishad is the Upanishad. It reveals who you are, who I am. What is this? Ganapati Atharvashirsha Upanishad? It comes under the minor Upanishad. And Tharva means to tremble, to shake. Atharva means fearless, no shaking, very, very steady. So Atharva Veda gives us fearlessness because whatever is pointed out in the Atharva Veda, the Karma Kanda, the Upasana Kanda, and the Jnana Kanda, it gives us fearlessness of body, mind, and intellect and makes us established in the truth. Abhaya Pratishtham Vindate. Abhaya means fearlessness. Fear comes when there is shakiness, when there is a sense of duality, when there is a sense of other, there is fear. When you realize that there is no other in this world, there is only the self, then we are absolutely rooted in fearlessness, and that is the goal of the knowledge of the Upanishads. The infinite truth, it has no form. Like when we see the first few verses, Om Namaste Ganapataye Tvameva Pratyaksham Tattvamasi Tvameva Kevalam Kartasi Tvameva Kevalam Dhartasi Tvameva Kevalam Hartasi Tvameva Sarvam Khalvidam Brahmasi Tvam Sakshadatmasi Nityam Rutam Vachmi Satyam Vachmi. All these verses, they are referring to Ganesha at the infinite level, where there is no form, there is no pain, and there is Ganapati. All special forms of the Lord, everything has got the element of Ganesha, meaning there is Ekam Sat Vipraha Bahudha Vadanti. Ekam Sat, the truth is one. Vipraha, the learned people speak of it in many ways. Like electricity is one, but light is different, fan is different, AC is different, a mobile phone is different, an electric heater is different, an electric stove is different, a geyser is different, a washing machine is different, a hair dryer is different, a vacuum cleaner is different. Everything operates differently with different powers, but the electricity that powers them is one. In the same way, the truth that powers all the gods are one, but the gods are all different. They do different work. They are all working together in the administration of the divine. And Ganapati is the lord of all the groups of gods, like whether it's Indra or whether it's Vayu, Agni, and the other lesser gods also. Ganapati is the main person who is a consciousness. And so even all the people, there are 6 forms of worship classified by Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya: Ganapatyam, Shaktam, Shauram, Kaumaram, Shaivam, Vaishnavam. Ganapatyam, people worship Ganapati. Shaktam, people who worship Shakti or Devi, they also worship Ganapati. Kaumaram, people who worship Subramanya Swami, they also worship Ganapati. Because Ganesha is related. Ganesha is his own self first, Ganapatyam. Then he is Shakti's son. He is Kumara's brother. And Shaivam, people worship. Shaiva also people worship because he is Shiva's son. They worship. Shauram, the people who worship the sun, also worship Ganesha. And people who worship Vishnu also worship Ganesha. And that is why Ganesha in the Vaishnava tradition is called Vishwaksena. He is worshipped by all the gods. So there are all special forms of the Lord are there. Even though God is one, even though the power of the universe is one, there are many, many special forms of the Lord, and they are worshipped as Ganapati, Shiva, Vishnu, Surya, Shakti, Rama, Krishna, Durga, Saraswati. And then you have, even though uh, God is formless, that Brahman is formless, it is very easy to worship with a form, with a name, form, and attributes. Attributes are different qualities like remover of obstacles, giver of peace, giver of good health, or giver of wealth. These are all the different attributes of those gods. So it's easy to worship in that form also. Even though the formless, it seems very simple, it is not so easy. So popular Ganesha worship is popular in Maharashtra, as we saw yesterday, and it is very easy to relate to the form of Ganapati. When you worship Ganapati or any deity in a form, it is very easy to relate. Even if a child goes to the beach, even though the sand in the beach is everything available there and it is in such a large quantity and fully available, what does a child do? It sits with a pail of water, it sits down, it bends its legs in Vajrasana and sits down, and then it collects the sand, it makes a mountain, it makes a house, it sticks a stick and puts a flag and says, "This is my house." And even it can even make an idol of God, bring some flowers, put some water, and do a puja also. All that can be done only with a form. With a formless, we really cannot connect to it with love and devotion, which we would like to. And that is why it is very popular and it is very easy to worship that Bhagavan, that Supreme Brahman, as a form with qualities. And then devotion also is possible. We will not like, if we have a tumbler of salt and then we take it to the ocean and drop the tumbler of salt, it is going to make no difference to the salt content in the ocean. It is going to taste the same. We will not know the difference. But if we take that a big ladle of salt, even one ladle of salt, not a tumbler, and we put it inside a tumbler of water, then, or it can be sugar also. We take a ladle of sugar and we put it inside a tumbler, then the water will become sugary. So that is what it means by bhakti. The ocean is very big, but we take a little bit of the water. The river is so big, but we take a little bit of that water in a glass and then we worship that this is Ganga, this is Yamuna, this is Saraswati, or this is Godavari, this is Narmada, Sindhu, Kaveri, whatever name we want to call it, we worship. The water is the same, the flow is the same, and the river, the geographical condition only will be different. When you take the water, there is no difference between this water and that water. In the same way, there is no difference between this god and that god. But when we take a little bit, we are able to connect very easily and worship very easily. So this meditation on name and form also becomes, name, form, and attributes also becomes very easy when we have a form to worship. The mind is able to, because somebody asked Ramana Maharishi, "You are saying who am I, who am I, and the formless is only the truth. Then why should we worship a form? Is it necessary?" Mrityunjayam mrityubhiyashritanam Ata Mrityunjayam Mrityubhiyashritanam. So why should people worship Mrityunjaya? Because they are having Mrityubhiya. They are afraid of Mrityu. They are afraid of death. Then, but Tathasvabhavat Amruteshu Teshu. Then that person, when they worship Mrityunjaya, they become, by nature, they become that Amrita. And then where is the question of fear for them? So we have fear, and so we worship God. So Ramana Maharishi was telling somebody, why should we worship God with form? And then that person, when that person asked that question, Ramana said, "Do you think you're a body or you are the supreme self?" The person said, "I think I'm the body." Then, since you think you're the body, you have to worship only the form. You will not relate to the formless. So it prepares the Upanishads, and worship of Ishvara prepares the mind to contemplate on the formless truth. And what is the truth? The truth is of all names and forms of gods are the truth only. The truth is in the form of Shiva, in the form of Vishnu, in the form of Ganapati. So you have Atharvashika meditation, Atharva Shira Upanishad is also there in the Atharva Veda, which refers to Shiva, and Atharvashika is talks about meditation. And here you have the Ganapati Atharvashirsha Upanishad. So, what is it that we want in life? We want peace. But what do we get? We get noise, we get agitation, and then the Upanishad, the guru and the disciple sitting together and conversing, they're chanting, they're invoking peace in both of them. The path to peace is shown in the Shanti mantras. It fine tunes the mind so that the mind, the Om Bhadram Karne Bhishrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashe Makshabhiryajatra. We saw the Shanti mantra. What does it do? It fine tunes the mind and makes it fit to receive the truth. And then it invokes God and conditions the mind and gives the desired results. Whatever we really seek in learning the Upanishad, that result is attained when the mind is pure and conditioned. It begins with Om. Om is that empowered presiding deity, like different ministers. All these ministers are Indra, Agni, Vayu. They're all like ministers, and they're all employed in the administration of the universe. And who is empowering all these deities is Ganesha, whose other name is also Om. Pranava Swarupa Vakratuldam Pranava Swarupa Vakratuldam Om Ennum Pranava Rupanayaka Umayavalil Balane Vinayaka. So many songs that sing about Ganesha talk about him as Pranava Swarupa, or the form of the mantra Om. With the eyes, what do? We want to see many good things, and with the we want to see what is auspicious. We want to do what is auspicious acts of, and how can we see what is auspicious? By doing auspicious acts and creating beauty. And we praise God with form, and which is even the form which is limited. When we praise God, we experience that absolute through worship of God. And knowledge is energy. Knowledge is energy. It removes obstacles, and it is a prayer to Indra, and it also blesses us. It is a prayer to Indra, Pushan, Garuda, and Brihaspati. We saw in the Shanti mantra. And the Shanti, 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 it is being told 3 times, is Adi, Daivika, or the phenomenal forces, Adi, Bhautika, or the forces around us, and Adhyatmika, are the forces within us. May we not get any kind of a difficulty or obstruction from these 3 forces, is the first prayer. And now the Namaskara. We are worshipping Ganesha. Namaste Ganapataye. So Namaskara. It is the Mahavakya Tattvamasi is there. Tvameva Pratyaksham Tattvamasi. Mahavakya is a great sentence, and that Ganesha is that. Here, instead of saying I am that, we are giving that Mahavakya to the name of Ganesha. And in Indian culture, Namaskara is a great tradition. The highest in me salutes the highest in you. But it is from the heart. And Ganapati is worshipped by all sections of society, all types of people. That is why there is no formality in worship of Ganesha. Even in Devatin Kural, Kanchi Paramacharya has written, he begins his, the Devatin Kural begins with his talks on Ganesha. He says, under a peepal tree, you just take a clod of clay, and then you hold it together and you keep it there. And you can put kumkum chantan. So your Ganesha is there, it is present there. And Gana means to count, and groups are all there. Many groups are there. Groups of devas, groups of asuras, groups of animals, plants, humans. And Ganapati is the lord of all groups, means he is the supreme master of this universe. So, what are the different aspects of God? There are 33 crore devatas and they are all empowered by Ganesha. So, an individual cannot become infinite. Ganesha is infinite, but we can realize that we are infinite. There is no difference between the wave and the ocean. Only if it is only in our thought there is a difference. So if we really understand, we know that the wave is the ocean, the drop is the ocean. Same way, Ganesha is everything and everything is Ganesha. Ganesha does the three jobs of all the gods. God is generator, operator, and destroyer. Creation, preservation, and destruction. So Ganesha is the Karta. Karta means a doer. That consciousness is what does everything in this universe. Meaning, without that consciousness, nothing is possible. Then Ganesha is Dharta, the one who bears everything in this universe. Ganesha is Harta, the one who removes everything and destroys everything in this universe. We create, but we do not know how to maintain it sometimes. And even if we maintain it very well, when the time to destroy it has come, we find it difficult to destroy it. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahmasi. You are that Brahman, you are that supreme truth. And what are the five elements and three qualities have to be destroyed at one point of time? They cannot be ever and ever. The earth, water, fire, air, and space, and their permutations and combinations, and the three qualities of Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna. And I am that Atma, the experiencer, the self. The world is a manifestation of pure consciousness, which is Ganesha. All that we see around us is only consciousness. There are three ways of knowing. One is pratyaksha. With my own eyes, I see something, hear something, taste something. The other is paroksha. Somebody else, like for example, a cricket match is happening in Australia, and I am viewing that cricket match on the television. It is paroksha. Somebody is telecasting the match from Australia, and it is being telecast through the television or the phone channels, internet, and I am watching the match. Pratyaksha is I am going to the stadium and watching the match myself. The third is Ganesha and other, the supreme truth is neither pratyaksha nor paroksha. It cannot be seen with the eyes by myself or seen with the experience with the sense organs. It can be told by others, by the guru who has seen it and witnessed it himself. It can be told, but we cannot understand as it is told by just hearing it. We have to experience it. And how does that experience happen? Sakshat. Sakshat means by us. It's called Sakshatkaram. Sakshatkaram is coming to the realization that I am that Brahman. Identifying with that Brahman and occupying that space that Brahman is, and being in that space and reveling in that space is called Sakshatkaram. So that is Sakshat. The world says become this, become that, do this, earn this, and then you will become like this. But what does a guru say? You don't need to become, you just be. Because whatever you want to become, you already are. You don't need to become anything. Data Dasha Sahasreshu Bhavita Nava. That is, you have the giver of among some 100 people, there will be giver of food. Among thousands of people, there is among 1 out of 100 are courageous. When it comes to the speaker, Vaktaram, our Vaktaram, it is asking the prayer, protect the speaker. So, what is the rarity of the speaker? Avadataram, Avavaktaram, and then Avadataram also is given here. 1 out of 100 people are courageous. 1 out of 1,000 people are scholars. 1 out of 10,000 people are speakers. So may you protect that speaker of this Upanishad. And then 1 out of 100,000 people, 1,000,000 people, whether they are there or not, if there is a donor, if there is somebody who gives something, know that there is no surety that even in 1 out of 1,000,000 people can be a donor. 1 out of many millions can be a donor. Bhavitava dataram dashasahasreshu bhavitava nava. So we don't know whether among millions and millions of people there will be one person who gives. Giving is not so easy. How much ever we have, whenever the time comes to give, we hesitate. So protect our Vaktaram, our Shrotaram. Shrotaram is all the people who are listening. Vaktaram is the one who speaks. Our Dataram, Dataram is all the people who contribute for this. The internet, the whole system, the people who give the money for the transactions to happen, all Dataram. So, if ever you are a data for something, if ever you are a giver, a donor for something, know that you are one among millions of people who's capable of being a donor. That is what the Upanishad says. So, who's a Shrota? A Shrota is the one who listens. And then you have the Dhata, or the one who supports. And some people, there are different types of, when there's a Shrota means a listener, there are different types of listeners. Some people, the moment they enter into the satsang hall, they'd have worked themselves so tired in the world outside. And when they come into the satsang hall and the speaker just sits up straight and everything becomes quiet, the hall is silent. There are lights, there are beautiful lights and lamps that are lit in the altar. There's a fragrance of agarbatti, and there is a presence of divinity around the place. And it is such a lovely time when the speaker begins with inhale deeply and exhale with even by the third Om, the word Om is such a lullaby for that person that they just drop off to sleep that moment. So there are different types of Shrotas. One is the one who goes to sleep when the satsang begins and is bright and wide awake when the last Om of the satsang ends and everybody is ready to leave. And they're able to hear the shuffle of movement of clothes and people moving here and there. They also awaken and then they are ready to leave out. That 1.5 hours, they have slept very beautifully. They may be sitting, but they have slept very deeply. So, Shrota. The other types of Shrotas are there. They're very sharp. They find fault. They have Viveka Shakti also. They can cut down the pieces of what is being told. And the other Shrotas are there. They listen tentatively. And there are some other types of Shrotas or listeners who listen with attention, who listen with love, and who listen with respect. The Upanishads calls for such Shrotas who listen with Viveka Shakti. The earlier one, finding fault and cutting down to pieces, is just people who come and smash speakers with their dry intellect and little knowledge and a lack of respect. But here, the attentive Shrota with love, respect, and care, he receives all that is being taught and he receives it with the eye of wisdom and also Viveka Shakti of trying to single out what is the self and what is not the self. The speaker may digress into a cricket match. The speaker may go off into office politics also sometimes, or about the world politics outside or global warming. Many other subjects may be taught. Even when the subject is Upanishad, sometimes it may happen, or some joke is there. But a Viveki Shrota will take only the essence of what is being spoken, which is relevant to the truth, Brahman. So Data is one person who gives and he loves to give. Everything is protect everybody is the prayer. And now what is consciousness? Consciousness is expressing through the guru, it is expressing through the speaker, it is expressing through the donor, it is expressing through the supporter, it is expressing through the giver, and we are all the receivers. Only Bhagavan, only Ganesha is the giver, and all of us are receivers. Data ek Rama, Bhikari Sari Duniya. So there is only one Data who is Rama, and the whole world is the Bhikari. We are all beggars from that Sri Rama. Sarvato Mam Pahi Pahi Samantat. So asking for protection of everybody and protection of me from all directions. We have the army, navy, and air force, and every seeker needs protection. Even if we are the seeker on the path of truth and path of liberation, we need to be protected along the way. And who can offer us the complete protection? The brain always loves to protect the body, and the mind always loves to protect our own story. And for our protection, we depend upon people of the world, we depend upon money, we depend upon security guards, we depend upon a security system around us. But the greatest security system we can ever have, the greatest protection, non failing 24 hours security, and 24 hours care and 24 hours protection we can ever have is Ganesha. There is no two options about it. And we study, and people who study and do scriptural practices also need protection. That is why when we do puja, we snap like this in all the directions, and then we close it, and then we lock it, and we say Digbandaha, meaning we seal all the directions so that our energy is taken care of and protected. And whether it is like the first way we can protect ourselves is to switch off our mobile phones for some time as we contemplate or as we meditate on the truth. Guru is the Anuchana, the one protect my Guru, who is the Anuchana. And what is the path shown by the Guru? He shows the path of somebody can teach us how to do karma or how to do yajnas and rituals. Somebody can teach us jnana, the Upanishads and the ways to the truth of knowledge of the self. Somebody can teach us upasana. Everything can be taught by one Guru also. Then he becomes a Sat Guru, or the one who teaches upasana, how to worship, how to do rituals. And some people can teach us how to do like give value to the world, that is dharma. And some persons can teach us about Brahma, which is a Sadguru. And we can have so many Annadanam, Mahadanam, then Samayadanam, Vidyadanam, Mahattaraha, Annadanam, Mahadanam. When you give food to everybody, it is a great donation indeed. Vidyadanam, Mahattaraha, when you give knowledge to others, that is also a great donation. But Abhayadanam, Mahattaram, when you give Abhaya means bestowing the knowledge of the self, the truth to one person, is giving fearlessness, making that person know that you are that Brahman. Abhayadanam, Mahattaraha, because that person never gets afraid at any point of time when they realize the self. And Brahma is that one where we get into the space of Abhaya. Then who is a Shishya? Avavaktaram, Avashrotaram, Avadataram, Avadataram, Avanuchanam, Avashishyam. Who is a Shishya? A Shishya is a disciple. Who is a disciple? The one who subjects themselves to discipline is a disciple. A Shishya is one who is ready to learn. Shishya puts efforts. Shishya reflects. Shishya lives according to the way taught by the Guru and the Shastras. Shishya is tuned to the Guru's thoughts. And the best Shishya is the one, even without the Guru telling, he is able to do what he has to do. A good Shishya is the Guru tells and he does. The worst Shishya is even if the Guru says, he is not able. And we come to the last of these sheets before we go to the Anuvaka for today. So what is this? What is given here? An apple tree comes from the apple seed. In the same way, the form of Ganesha, the quality of Ganesha, the presence of Ganesha comes from the Bija Mantra, or the Bija Mantra or the seed mantra of Ganesha. And what is the seed mantra of Ganesha? Om Gam. This Om contains 4 syllables. A, U, Ma, Im. Anuswara. A, U, Ma and Anuswara. And then Ganesha comes from Ga, A, Ma and Im. 4 parts. So 4 plus 4, 8 parts are there to this. Om Gam. Whenever you want to remember Ganesha, chanting it with Om. Om Gam. Om Gam. arrive at the terrestrial aspect of Ganesha, the form, the physical form of Ganesha, which can be seen by us. So, what is the terrestrial form? Is Saguna. Om, Gan, A, Anuswara, and all that we just saw. Terrestrial form is the form that we can perceive Ganesha as. We will be able to see Ganesha in that form. So, when we say rose, many people can describe a rose in different manners. And some will say this is the fragrance, this is the smell. Some will say the botanical name of Rosa sinensis. In the same way, mantras are described, and people described everything symbolically. Like this, they conduct leadership workshops, corporate leadership workshops. And what is symbolic reference of Ganesha, which is like the trunk represents a capacity to lift something very big, as well as something very tiny as a needle, and the one tusk which can tear through something or even write something beautifully. Well, all these things. But it is like Puja Guruji says, we should not simply go behind the symbolism of everything and try to understand the symbolic aspect. There is love, there is reality to this Ganesha. It's a real being. So you would not like your own son or daughter being described by someone symbolically. Her hand represents this, her elbow represents this. It is not very nice. It is not very pleasant to dissect that person. So in that way, a person with a love, they will not talk of symbolism. They will say Ganesha is so beautiful, so great, so wonderful. He is the one who takes care of me. He is the master of my life. And when we talk about Ganesha with love, then we will not find the symbolism comes only for people who don't have belief, who don't have love. They just want to know, and for them all the symbolism will work. But we as devotees of this Upanishad, we don't need to get into the symbolism of Ganesha. Devotees don't see symbol. They worship the form of Ganesha, and they love the name of Ganesha, and they give their love to Ganesha. They offer their love to Ganesha. And so the rishis described what they saw. The rishis are not giving when they describe Ganesha as having the trunk and having this whatever form that they are describing, they are not thinking a thought in their mind, or they are not taking a movie. They are not doing a movie on Ganesha and then bringing their ideas into that. They just sit in meditation and Ganesha reveals himself, and what they see in that meditation, they bring it out as a vision, they bring it out as an image, and they bring it out in beautiful texts. And those beautiful texts are translated as poetry in the Puranas, and then as sculptures in the temples, as pictures in our puja rooms, or in calendars, or wherever, or on the Ganesha festival day. When we make the Ganesha, we are given those forms. And so many people, they do all these things like cricket Ganesha, sleeping Ganesha, yoga Ganesha, or painting Ganesha, cooking Ganesha, all these things. These things are all done only because of our entertainment capacity. These things are done because Ganesha is very compassionate, and these things are done because Hindus do not bother about how their gods are being portrayed or projected. They don't care. And so that is why all this is possible. Otherwise, with a lot of love and respect, we would just stick to the form of Ganesha as described by our rishis, and with faith and respect. So let us go to the verse that we need to chant today. And for the remaining part of the verses which we have not seen the commentary in English, we will see tomorrow. Ganadim purvamucharyam varnadim stadanantaram anuswarah paratarah ganadim purvamucharyam varnadim stadanantaram anuswarah paratarah ardhendulasitam tarena ruddham etattava manuswarupam गकारः पूर्वरूपम् अकारो मध्यमरूपम् अनुस्वारश्चान्त्यरूपम् बिन्दुरुत्तररूपम् नादः सन्धानम् सगंहिता सन्धिः सैषा गणेश विद्या. This is Sayesha. This is Ganesha Vidya. What is the knowledge of Ganesha? The thought of Ganesha Ganadim, Gan, that word Ga, Gan Adim, Purvamucharyam. First, what is the word? Ga is mentioned. And then Varnadim Stad Anantaram. Varna Adi, the first letter of first Varna or letters A. Ig Ga plus A, Ga. Ig plus A, Ga, Ganadim. Purvamucharyam. Varnadim Stad Anantaram. A, Ga. And then Anuswara Parataraha, the nasal sound. That sound. Gan. Anuswara Parataraha. Ardha Indulasitam. Gam. That sound. The Chandra Bindu is there. Ardhe Indulasitam. Ardha Indu is Chandra Bindu. You draw a moon-like thing and then you put a dot on top. Chandra Bindu. That's extension of the Anuswara. Tarena Riddham. Tarena is prefixed by Om. Om is the Taraka mantra. Ta, U and Im. Riddham is, it is this Om is prefixed. Gan is prefixed with Om. Gam is prefixed with Om. Tarena Riddham. Etat tavam tava manu swarupam. This is your terrestrial form. This is Ganesha's terrestrial form. Gakaraha, the Ga, the letter Ga, syllable Ga. Purvarupam, the first letter. Akaraha, Akara is the letter A. Is a Akaraha Madhyama Rupam. Ga plus A, Ga. Then Anuswarascha Antya Rupam. The end form is Anuswara. And then Bindur Uttar Rupam. That it is chanted for a longer time. Binduhu Uttara Rupam. Then Nada Sandhanam. Nada is a sound. Gam. You have that vibration of that sound. Nada Bindu Kaladi. Namo Namo Veda Mantra Swarupa. Namo Namo Nada Bindu Kala Adi. So Bindu is the dot. Uttara Rupam, concluding form. Om Gam. Om. There is sound. Nada. Gam, frequency. And then you have Sandhanam, intermediary. Samhita, Sandhihi, the close connection of or syllable. Om Gam. Om Gam. Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam. Ganapataye Namaha. Om and Gam. And they both have 4 parts. We've already seen that. Om has got 4 parts and Gam has got 4 parts. Samhita is a connection due to the closeness of the syllable. The Om and the Gam, that the lingering sound, Om Gam, Om Gam, Om Gam, Ganapataye Namaha, Om Gam, Ganapataye Namaha. So, we are now concluding with this. One moment, please. With this, then we will see the rest tomorrow. We will see from Saisha Ganesha Vidya. And who is the Rishi who gave this knowledge, we will see tomorrow. And we will also conclude the commentary of the intermediate verses. Intermediate verses which we have not seen the commentary in English today. We will conclude that tomorrow. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha. Sarve Santu Niramayaha. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya. Tamasorma Jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम बोलिए श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय हर नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेव हरि ओम।